Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hope everyone's had a fantastic day. It's Wednesday, the 23rd of July. Of course, Arsenal have played their first preseason game, and they won. They won in the regular time. They won somewhat rather Singapore Cup or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, there were some players that were playing, quite a few, pretty much every single player played, which was quite interesting to see. I managed to watch the game as well whilst I was at work, so that is always a plus in those terms. Definitely, we will talk about that. We're going to talk about transfers, but of course, the main focus will be the game, the first game of how we played, how some players looked. Obviously, it's only preseason, so cannot get overexcited, cannot get over the moon, and all this stuff. And of course, we're going to talk about the transfer window because let's be real, it's still open. We still need to do some business. We are still short. And I would still love to see some outgoings. So let's get into all that. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and leave your thoughts down the live chat. Let me know what you thought about the game. Big up Vasul. Hope you're doing well today. Martinelli still show why we need a new left winger. Yeah, to be honest, yeah. If we are diving straight into it, Martinelli looked the same as he did last season, during the season. At sometimes he did some good things. And he was quite disappointing if you look at it overall. But hey, I guess it is what it is. It's not a surprise. I guess it looks like in Mikel Arteta's plans, it was for the longest time to change the tactics from 22-23 style. Hence why maybe he wanted to try and sign Mudryk, maybe, but who knows? But yeah, left wing is definitely a place where you definitely needs improvements. It leads a lot more to be desired in those terms. Otherwise, yeah, Martinelli didn't definitely convince me. It's just the first game, so we cannot kind of judge him too much from one side looking at it. But if he's looking the same as he did before, you would expect maybe some players to look a bit sharper, but they didn't. So I guess it is what it is. The chemistry between Ben White, Saka, Nwaneri was very good, and I like when White overlap. Yeah, it actually looked very nice. Saka looked actually somewhat decent. Ben White also looked very decent. It looks like he has recovered quite nicely from the surgery, from the injuries he had. Nwaneri was one of the bright spots in the first half. It's a shame he had to come off at halftime, but overall, Nwaneri was quite fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. You could see that as soon as he played more central, he played in that 10 spot, to play with those triangles, to play on the line and everything. He looked very, very good, very convincing, and very nice, to be honest. For me, the two biggest bright sides of this preseason game, at least the first one, was Ethan Nwaneri and Max Dowman. I'm not gonna lie, an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old or 15-year-old. He's 16, I think now, 16-year-old. So that is actually quite interesting when you look at things overall. Norgard was pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. He didn't notice him too much. Yes, he misplaced a few passes, but overall, it wasn't the worst. Obviously, we played against AC Milan, and we were quite dominating overall in the stats and on the pitch most of the time. So kind of cannot make too many judgments. The real judgments regarding Norgard and players like that will come when we are under pressure, when the opposing side's midfield is trying to push us down, when it's trying to annihilate us, when it's trying to basically press us out of the game against, your Aston Villas, Newcastles, and things like that. That's where we will see what is what, especially if he comes on. Obviously, if he doesn't start, might not be as big of a question, but if he plays even as a sub, those dancers definitely will look at those things 100%. Yeah, Dowman was very good. I actually, not gonna lie, he was actually very, very good. Big up Mubarak. Imagine Arsenal having Eze left side, Gyokeres center forward, Saka right side, defenders started crying. I can see the argument for that, but for me as well, still to this day, Eze is not a left winger. For me, he's a number 10 straight down the middle, because we need more directness, but more ball carrying, more risk takers down the middle with the through balls, passing, and everything. So I kind of feels like Eze would be more suited for that role. Yes, he plays sometimes on the left. He drifts wide on the left for Palace as well. But overall, to be long-term left-wing solution for Arsenal, I kind of don't see Eze being that. You could say maybe, obviously, as one of the biggest talking points is where Noni Madueke is going to play, whether he's going to be a starter or a backup. For Saka only, given that we have paid 52 million, it doesn't kind of sit with me very well that he could be a backup. Arsenal don't sign 45 plus million type players just to be backups. So In my opinion, he actually most likely will be a star, I would imagine. And I guess that left side is more up for grabs than any other side, because right wing is definitely locked on. The right side is locked in for Bukayo Saka. That left side, looking how Trossard played, how Martinelli looked, and everything definitely is up for grabs. We'll see how that goes 100%. That left side needs some needs resolving quite quickly. Zinchenko as well. Zinchenko, let's just put it that way. Plus, Zinchenko played as left back. I'm not gonna lie, so I don't like him playing as a left back. If Zinchenko starts the midfield as an 8 or as a 10, he's actually very decent. The fact that he just started as a left back instantly kills any quite a bit, let's just put it that way, of any progression and chance that he actually could be very decent for the games in future plans. Big up Marlon. Today Dowman will cook to make forget about it. I just shut up about Yamal already, seriously. Josh Nichols actually was very decent on that right. He came on for Ben White. He had that place on lock. Again, we need to look at this in those terms as it's only AC Milan. It's only preseason games. So again, once we're going to play, I would like to see how, for example, Josh Nichols looks against Newcastle in preseason, how he looks against Spurs in preseason. And of course, when season kicks off, then everything will be seen, if even he's going to get to play some games for Arsenal in preseason, because Timber was not with the team. I guess he hasn't recovered from the injuries. Maybe he had that surgery or not. We still don't know. So time only will tell. But overall, you could see some glimpses of very good players. Obviously, Arsenal's young talent, young players are actually very decent. Very, very decent. I'm not going to lie. And long-term solutions, I can see quite a few Helen graduates overall playing in the team. The thing is, though, until Mikel Arteta actually figures out how to rotate, finally, or we get a new manager who actually integrates the youth into the team on semi-consistent basis, not too sure we will see many of them. Because we know we're going to see Skelly. We know we're going to see Nwaneri, most likely, by the looks of things. We might see also Max Dowman on occasion, but the rest of them, I'm not too sure we're going to see them too often in the team whatsoever. Nwaneri could be a star if Odegaard plays bad, yeah. Maybe not on regular basis, because with Nwaneri, I know it's a bit of a raw subject in those terms that he still needs to put up some pounds and he needs to maybe train some stamina and fitness a bit more. But overall, yeah, he looked very decent, very great. The skills he pulled off on the sidelines, that touch, and if he scored that left-footed banger, would have been a phenomenal goal as well in preseason. So Nwaneri actually looked fantastic, to be honest, today. He was one of the bright spots in the first half, and overall throughout the whole game, even though he played only 45 minutes, in my opinion, he was one of the bright spots of the whole game, despite everything. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, people, smash the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the likes. Big up social joins. What I thought Mikel would be stingy with the kids, but he played them all. Nice to see. Yeah, but that's the biggest thing. It is preseason. That's the biggest thing. It is preseason. We still don't have Mosquera. We still don't have Gyokeres in the team. We don't know when they're gonna join. It looks like Mosquera potentially could be playing against Newcastle on Sunday. Maybe also Gyokeres could be available for the game against Newcastle. Who knows? But ultimately, it's only a preseason. Like, if opportunity presents itself, I would love to see some of those players also play in the regular season. Let's just say, just like we had the game against PSV last year. 7-1 up after the first leg, and we still play quite a few starters, quite a few main guys, so we could have avoided that. And if there's opportunity, let's just say we're 3-4-0 up, and we can afford to use some youngsters, I would like to see that. Not Mikel Arteta subbing on player-per-player situations, and he subs on his senior players. So those are still the question marks. Preseason is one thing. We need to see this in regular season as well, because in preseason, you can play whoever you want without any repercussions. You agree to the rules. You can, at halftime, you can change the whole 11 if you want and everything. But ultimately, yeah, it still leaves a room to be desired. Let's just put it that way. Odegaard was awful. Yeah, Odegaard wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. From all the players, Odegaard was the standout bad performers, ironically enough, together with Havertz. Martinelli, maybe not so much, but Havertz definitely. Havertz, again, was very, very questionable and not so good. He chipped over standing ball. It isn't, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I don't know what will. Big up, Gavin. Hope you're doing well today. Josh Nichols is him. Yeah, Josh Nichols was good. Salmon was very decent as well. Shame he missed the penalty. Absolutely skied it in row Z, but Obviously, time only will tell how that's gonna go. I heard that Arsenal talking to Crystal Palace about this, and they're talking about the value. Yeah, there are very mixed reports regarding Eze in general. Apparently, Arsenal are talking to Eze. Then, on the other hand, you hear that Crystal Palace are not going to budge whatsoever from the specific fee they have set in 68 million release clauses. Then again, you hear that Arsenal are trying to talk about the fee. Maybe it can be lower, maybe a bit higher, but it will be paid in installments, not triggering the release clause and all this stuff. I'm not going to lie, it's all up in the air. And until we start to get some more concrete links and concrete reports, it's all speculation as of now. It feels like Arsenal, despite the fact that they're saying that Arsenal have long interest, they are admirers, Mikel Arteta wants him and everything, it feels like Arsenal have started talks just now. It feels that way because if we were talking about this before, we probably would have figured out what is what. The price would have been set, the payments, the terms, and everything would be set. We just should put the money on the table. But at the moment, it doesn't look that way. It looks like Arsenal still needs to figure that stuff out. So it doesn't feel like Arsenal are in the midst of things. Let's just say it as it is. I thought Mikel would be stingy the kids by playing all such great. Yeah, they are talented. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Big up, Marlon, and thank you. 800. We have surpassed 800 subscribers. 900 is the next target. Let's go and smash it as quickly as possible, and smash the likes, people, as well. Did you see how good Dowman looked? Yeah, Dowman looked very decent, very, very good for a 16-year-old. He looked very, 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 very good. Eze, Cam, Odegaard reserve, Lookman for left wing. Yeah, Lookman as well. Apparently, Lookman is available, according to reports from Italy, specifically Gazzetta d'Italia and places like that. Despite the fact that Inter hold very strong interest in Lookman, Atalanta prefers to sell him abroad, right? The price apparently is set in 50 million euros, which is about 45 million pounds. And if Arsenal could find a pound to sign Eze and Lookman, which obviously together would be like 110 to 115 million, which in terms of Arsenal doesn't seem a lot, but knowing how Arsenal tend to do their business, I don't think it's going to happen. Yes, Arsenal want more signings. Yes, Arteta wants more players, apparently. But will we sign 2-3 players, as I at least envision Arsenal's team that they need, and high-quality players, as we talked about, Lookman, Eze, maybe someone else? I don't know if that's going to happen. And obviously, if that also doesn't include the outgoings. So if we start to include the outgoings, we need a bit two more. It's a very, very annoying situation. It's actually annoying situation. Big up Fasul, 805, big up people. Thank you for all your support. It's specifically in the recent times. Overall, starting from the beginning and also to the recent times. Big up to you all. Dowman is him. He deserves that number 10. Hey. Just calm down. Genuinely calm down. I'm not going to gas this up because this is one of the biggest problems these days with football, that every single teenager gets gassed up like he's the next coming of Gandhi or Jesus or whoever, right? Until that player grows, develops himself, and he sees what he is, I'm not going to jump on the hype. Is Dowman very talented? Yes, he is. Is Nwaneri talented? Yes, he is. But is there a reason to compare him to Messi's, Ronaldo's, Yamal's, and Wirtz's and players like that? No, there isn't. Let it be the best version of himself. We all know that they have high ceiling. Whether they can achieve it or not, obviously depends on the team, depends on the manager, and depends on the coaching. And unfortunately, there are very big question marks regarding Mikel Arteta and developing young players still to this day. So we'll see. No, Gabriel or Timber, though, yeah, they still weren't there. They still haven't recovered as well. Cannot deny that. A lot of academy players I see get promoted lately. We have promoted a few. Over time, we could promote some more. It also depends, obviously. It also depends on the situation. Big up Malzer as a 27. That's enough time for Dowman to grow into the first team. Exactly. That is the biggest thing. Gyokeres is also 27. So there's no difference. If we sign Eze, play him in the 10, it would give Max Dowman time to be his understudy, let's just put it that way, to grow, develop, and if he becomes good faster than we expected, he could also basically fight out together with Eze for the number 1 spot in the 10 position. So it's a win-win situation overall. Now, the question marks about Odegaard still arise because Odegaard is the secret love child, obviously, of Mikel Arteta, so we don't know what's going to happen there. But the fact that if we sign Eze, and everything 65 million, like, he also has to be a starter. And obviously, in the recent times, lots of questions being talked about regarding Odegaard. So there definitely will need we need some answers. Odegaard was bad last season, and you would imagine that he cannot get much worse. Let's just put it that way. So the only way is up. Let's just put it that way. If we want to win, we need to rotate, and Mikel has an allergy to rotate like City and Liverpool. Yes, he does. Plus, he doesn't have the quality to rotate. People would argue we have right now. I can see the argument being made right now that we have some quality as well to rotate right now. But still, if we start to rotate attack, it's genuinely after rotation, it's like falling off a cliff. If we go from Gyokeres to Havertz, from Saka to Nelson, and from, I don't know, Martinelli to Trossard or Madueke, it feels like it's maybe not the left wing specifically, but striker and right wing, it's like falling off a cliff. So that is still a big, big issue. We don't have solid backups in all the spots. But if we manage in specific games to rotate properly, rest players, and maybe give them some extra minutes or less minutes here or there, and Arteta actually discovers how to rotate properly, there is still a possibility. There's always a possibility. But at the moment, based on the last 5.5 years, it's going to be 6 in this year in December. I wouldn't put my money on it. Big up, Jay. Hope you're doing well today. Big up, Jay. All my mates being amazed by Dowman because they've seen the clips that's making the round on the socials. It's not just me that's shocked by his height. That's the first thing they notice for his age. Yeah, that is the biggest thing about Dowman. He was 15 years old last season, and he was playing with under 16s and schooling them like no tomorrow. He was playing with under 18s and schooling them like no tomorrow. Obviously, I think Max Dowman this season will be with the first team, but he also is going to play a lot with under 21s. And if he also proves himself for under 21s, he can be in the main team full time if he manages to prove himself and he actually signs a professional contract and all this stuff. Let's be real. But the biggest thing is, like, people are going to scream right now for me in the comments 100% that keep him on the bench, don't send him to youth team. But there is no reason to keep Max Dowman on the bench whole season. Give him time to play. Players at this age where he is basically 16 to even 20 to some extent, they need game time. And if you cannot guarantee them game time in the first team on consistent basis, let them play in the under 21s. Maybe send them out on loan if push comes to shove. Just give them time, give them an option to develop, to play, get the feel for the game, learn the style and everything. So yeah, but Max Dowman overall was very good yet today. You could see that there is abilities, there is talent. Same with Nwaneri. He absolutely was schooling AC Milan's defenders today as well. Like the future looks bright. Let's just put it that way. The future looks bright if we play our cards right. Let's just put it that way. Mosquera will cover that right back, right center back role in rotation for Ben White and Simba. Well, it looks like that is the aim, at least. Like that is the goal for Arsenal. Arteta going to have a very hard time keeping Nwaneri out of this team this season. It looks that way. Obviously, the biggest question mark about Nwaneri, as I said before, is still his stamina and fitness long term, because you could see that when he played few games in a row, he was gassed after a few games when he was starting somewhat consistently. So there is that question mark still. But if he manages to work on that, and he manages to actually develop that and improve on it, then definitely no shadow of a doubt, Odegaard could be really quickly out, especially if he doesn't perform well. And Dowman will cover for Rice, so I don't see Dowman as an 8. He could play there, but it doesn't feel like an 8. Did you like the style that Mikel Arteta played against Milan? I'm not gonna lie, it was very similar to last year. Too similar. Yes, there were maybe a bit more gaps. There were a bit more between the line passes, I would say. At the same time, it was very similar to some extent like last year. And AC Milan also, they didn't play like we played the Premier League sides. Because let's be real, as soon as we're going to start playing Premier League, half of the Premier League is going to park the bus against us, mid-low blocks. Most of the teams don't do that against us in Europe. So that is still the question. Has he found a solution for those situations? We will see if we let's see how we play against Newcastle and how we play against Spurs. I think that could be the first indication of how we might look during next season, at least to some extent, unless Mikel Arteta decides to change things. Because in Europe, we didn't have too many issues with playing teams most of the time. Let's be real. The issue is when we play in Premier League and teams do the same thing all over again, and that's their blueprint to at least slowing us down, right, or keeping us to a draw. So unless we can manage how to address that, that's a different story. Dowman may maybe short, but Dowman is decent. Dowman looked like what Odegaard should be. Nwaneri and Dowman, both of them were better than Odegaard today, without shadow of a doubt. Dowman ain't short, bro. He's 6 foot. Like, he's Raya's height. For a goalkeeper that is short, for a number 10, that's actually decent. Man, he's so bad and just terrible how the starters over Nwaneri. Like, I don't know. Dowman is for me, Dowman is more of a 10, maybe wing. He's 15. How did they find this kid? Academy, man. Academy. Dowman is not a striker. No. He's a midfielder / winger. Just see, it's very similar to Nwaneri, number 10 right wing, but Dowman also technically can play in that 8 spot. But for him, I think to play in the 8 spot, he needs much more developing than playing from the 10, I think. It feels that way, at least. Big up Ryan. Martinelli needs to go. Sign Visa, Lookman, or Eze. Yeah, exactly. Sell Martinelli, sign Lookman and Eze. Sign Lookman for the left, Eze for the number 10. Dowman is a 10. Marlon is right. The 10 can play on the wing. Exactly. That's how he plays. Ironically enough, we have 2 youngsters who play in the same positions, which is very annoying and very great at the same time. Plus, if you look at the thing that we have Saka there, and if he's our long-term right wing, which obviously Arsenal envisioned him that way, it raises big questions. Let's just put it that way. Because we will have 3 players for right wing, we have 2 players for number 10, and if they prove themselves to basically be that good as everyone is expecting them to be, it could be problematic to maybe keeping them both unless we find a solution how to play them both at the same time in long term. Just goddamn get it done. Yeah, Chelsea are about to get Hato. They are still in for Simmons, so they might get them both. Arteta will probably say that he sees Dowman as a striker, though. No. He sees Nwaneri as a striker. I think Nwaneri has a bigger chance being a striker than Dowman, isn't he? That he sees Nwaneri as a striker, he already has said it. Maybe over time, how he doesn't use, for example, Martinelli as a striker still is a bit of a mystery to me, but hey, I guess it is what it is. We cannot know everything. Big up Hyper Protagonist. Hope you're doing well today. Young right back came on. Nichols, he kept the side on lock. Yes, he did. And Dowman buried ones in the shootout. Well, the captain set the same example by missing. Yeah, Odegaard missed the penalty, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. Yes, Salmon hit it over the bar. That's a different story because he's young and everything. But yeah, Odegaard stepped up as a captain to take the first penalty, and he missed it. Like, it gave me Man United vibes. Remember that game when we lost? Chelsea got cut on. Yep. Our left-back position is cooked if Skelly is injured. Well, we have technically Cauliflower there and everything, but I don't want to see Calafiori as a left-back. Calafiori as a center-back actually looked very decent, to be honest, today. He is not a left-back. He's a center-back, or he's a left wing back where he can attack, and defensively he doesn't have to be as good as people expect him to be as when he's a pure left back. So there is also that. He was playing the wing for England. Yeah, Dowman was playing right wing for England under 18s. He's quality when we play there. Yeah. We have like 5-6 wingers if you add Kabi and Charles Sagoy Jr. And why would Dowman play there? Like, that is the biggest issue now. Our best players, youngsters, are all attackers, are wingers or 10s. And to balance that out, unfortunately, there's limited spots on the pitch. Let's just put it that way. There's very limited spots on the pitch. There goes Hatso. Yep, Hatso is goodbye. The only thing that could screw up Dowman is a girl or Arteta himself. The biggest money in these terms is Arteta, for me personally. Like, that for me is also the biggest issue with Nwaneri, what could happen there, and also with Miles Lewis-Skelly, because Skelly did decently as a left back overall last season. I still see him as an 8. I don't see him as a left back out and out. So those are still questions that need to be answered. Martinelli, same age, and everyone is trolling Martinelli because Martinelli only keeps looking down. Let's be real. I now want to see more academy players' future in upcoming preseason games. It's good games to see more young players who care about the badge. Yes, that is the case. But at the same time, you need to start your main team as well. They need to get some chemistry to play together because season begins in less than a month, in 3 weeks, pretty much. 7, 14, in a bit more than 3 weeks. So they need to also get that into gear. I see it enough from Dom, and he is him. Zero who can say, Sign Lookman and a young fullback. Could work, could definitely work, but we need that left wing spot, left back spot sorted out, because Arsenal are still in the market, as Fabrizio is saying, and everything. How I see Arsenal at the moment, we need a left winger, we need a left back, and we need a 10 at least. So that's 3 more players, which I don't see Arsenal doing, unfortunately. Despite the fact that we have signed, if we sign Gyokeres and everything, about 6-7 players signed, 6 I think, we need about 3 more. And that is not including outgoings, which again could make our team smaller. Because at the moment we have signed every single player as a replacement 1-per-1. Kepa comes for Neto, Norgard comes from Jorginho, Zubimendi for Partey, Madueke comes for Sterling and everything like that. Now, if you look at Gyokeres, that's the only one that comes in as an actual player to stand on his own, right? So Mosquera comes for Tomiyasu in. So we have 1-per-1 replacements, which means our squad is still as small as it was before. So we need to sign about 3-4 more players than especially if we sell 3 players. Like, we need to look at it that way, because last year our team was small. We couldn't rotate. Obviously, the quality also was lacking, so that's a bit different story as well on top of that. But definitely there is something to it. Reece Nelson and Kepa put in a good performance as well. Yeah, Kepa saved 3 penalties today. Kepa saved 3 penalties today, which is kind of nuts if you ask me. And Reece Nelson somehow looked better than Trossard and Martinelli today. Like, that is how nuts it is, to be honest, if you ask me. Like, Nelson actually looked better than Martinelli and Trossard, which is quite insane if you ask me, just coming back from injury. Gabriel, the defender, said he's close to returning. Yeah, that is always positive. As soon as Big Gabby comes back, we are also good, more dangerousness from corners and long throws, let's be real. Reece Nelson played there for God, bro, played for Arsenal. Nah, he's back. He's fully back, and he actually was better than Martinelli and Trossard. Seriously. Not even joking, Dom is probably already better than Odegaard. Same with Nwaneri. Yeah, Nwaneri, we already talked about it last year, that he actually looks better and more convincing than Odegaard. Only issue, obviously, with Nwaneri, as I said before, is his stamina. Let's be real. With Dowman, it could be the same case. By December, I don't think it will be up for debate 100%. On top of that, you could also say that by December, if things go south, Arteta might not be here, to be honest. Odegaard's absolutely like, go figure. Odegaard started trying things soon as he saw how Dowman and Nwaneri were moving, took a pillow foot shot into the side netting, tried to get techie and everything. These youths are just different level. Yeah, these youth don't give a damn. They know how good they are, how good they can be, and they see a spot in the team. They see the spot that they can basically grab onto it and keep themselves in it. So that is a big thing. That is a big, big thing. And obviously, Odegaard, for me personally, would be the first one on the chopping block. Let's just put it that way. But Odegaard needs to shoot when he has the chance and pass in the right move. He should. That is the big thing. I was saying that throughout the whole last season. At the same time, when he shoots, there is no strength in his shot. Hence, he's getting called pillow foot. And when he needs to pass the ball, he doesn't pass it. He holds on for the ball too much. He takes too many touches. He does this spinaroonie thing and screws up the whole chance. Like, it happened on so many occasions last season. I nearly lost my marbles. Everybody better than Odegaard. Oh, I wish we had Wenger to manage these kids, dude. These kids under Wenger, they would be cooking like no tomorrow. Me too, Dio. Would I have Anchor would like beasts now, but Nwaneri and Dowman are too good to be sent on. I'm not saying sent on loan 100%, but if you are not consistent, I'm talking about Dowman here. If you're not consistently playing, because these guys need to be playing, because if you are 25, 26, right, you can afford maybe to miss a game and then you'll start next game. With Dowman, you cannot afford to basically have him sit on the bench every single goddamn game. Like it was last year with Butler or Deji, second part of the season with Nwaneri after Saka came back and all this stuff. With Dowman, you kind of cannot afford that anymore, since Nwaneri has signed a new deal, which apparently has some game clauses in there, so he will play. With Dowman, you cannot afford that. So basically, you keep him in the team if he can play. You play him in under 21s, and if the worst comes to worst, you can loan him out. Try that. Worst comes to worst, you can loan him out in those terms. Bro, we can't have Dowman not play any games. Exactly, that is my point. We cannot. And that is the biggest thing. Given how Arteta rotates and everything, there could be an issues with that, especially since Dowman plays in the same spots as Odegaard and Saka. Nwaneri has the new deal, so he's going to be in the pecking order ahead of Dowman. And the right wing, who knows who's going to sub off for Saka. That is my point here. We aren't going to be all that different to last year as long as Rice is in the 8 and left wing has Martinelli and Trossard starting. Facts. For me, still, I believe that Declan Rice, the best, is at 6. Still believe that. Like he was under David Moyes when they won the Conference League and all this stuff, when he was disrupting the play, disrupting balls and everything, and just spraying long balls. Personally, I would sign a proper left back and put Skelly in the 8. And if push comes to shove, if the left back gets injured, put Skelly there. That would be for me, and obviously then a left winger, of course. Zubi was insane. He would have been the perfect bus. Yeah, Zubimendi was very good today. He was instantly one touch pass, maybe 2 touches pass. He was consistently moving the ball, wasn't taking any more extra touches, which was very nice to see from our midfield, to be honest. If we get Teze, then our left wing looks completely different. True, but I still don't envision him being a touchline winger, though. Trossard looking like he will get sold from what I'm seeing. He could get sold. Just the question is where, especially if Bayern Munich get Luis Diaz from Liverpool. There are no takers because the strongest links that Trossard has, it actually is with Bayern Munich at the moment, apparently. When the team parked the bus against us, we need Zubimendi to find us through passes between the defensive lines. Exactly. And it looks like Zubimendi could be doing that. Obviously, we are going off one game, so we cannot get too overexcited, too over the moon with that, because this was also AC Milan. I would love to see Nwaneri, Skelly, Dowman, Zubimendi, all these guys do the same things against, for example, Newcastle. And not just in preseason specifically, because preseasons get taken very lightly, right? During the season, when everything is on the line, when you get pressed by Bruno Guimaraes, by Tonali, by Joel Linton, by Dan Burn, Botman, Schär, all these guys, when you get pressed, run into the ground, when they get physical, rough and tough with you, I want to see what they're going to do then. Will they rise up or will they fall? Because remember when Nwaneri started in the second leg against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and he had some moments, but overall you could see that he was genuinely run down. He didn't have any energy left because he was playing a few games before on semi-consistent minutes, and he was already pumped out, hence why I'm thinking he still needs to build up his stamina and fitness. Zubimendi was actually decent, yeah. Well, we'll see. Long term, we will have to see, but the first impressions look promising. Like, personally, I don't hate Zubimendi. He's actually a very, very good player. Saying this right now. The biggest question marks for me personally is, can he handle Premier League? When he gets pressed, shoved, kicked, the elbowed, and all this stuff. Can he handle the physicality of Premier League? And then afterwards, can he take the ball, disrupt the play, and instantly spread a ball for a counter? That, for me, is the biggest questions right now. And it always has been. Because there is, obviously, replacing Thomas Partey is very hard in this team because he had a specific role in that 6th spot, which obviously, on face value, if we look at Zubimendi and even the games he played for Sociedad, at the moment, it's very hard to envision see him doing, unless the style gets changed for Mikel Arteta, so time only will tell. Did you like the performance of Kepa? Well, he saved 3 penalties. That was a surprise, and that was actually quite nice. Overall, too early to tell. Too early to tell, but you could see that he is experienced goalkeeper. Let's just put it that way. 5 million and everything, like, hey. How about when Nwaneri is a left wing? It could work, but Mikel Arteta is never going to go for it, is he? Mikel Arteta wants a right-footed winger on the left and left-footed winger on the right, so they can cut in all the time. Hence why we have predominantly right-footers on the left and left-footers on the right, which is quite annoying, which is very stupid as well, in my opinion. Because even if we swap wings, it helps a lot, because then you have a guessing game for the defender, whether he's going to go down the line or cut in on his weak foot, right? And it's harder to block an outside foot cross. But hey, that is on Mikel Arteta because he never does these things. He was wasting on left wing. He wants to cut inside on his strong foot. And that is how Mikel Arteta envisions our wingers. Hence why Saka, a left footer, is always on the right. And Trossard Martinelli, a right footer, is always on the left. They want him to cut in, basically. Personally, what signing do you think should have not given that much hate? And which signing? If I speak for the whole fan base, which I cannot do, obviously, but overall, I would say it is Madueke. Do I think Madueke is the right signing for Arsenal right now? No, I don't. But as soon as he puts that Arsenal shirt on, I'm going to be backing him. If he performs well, I'm going to be backing him, praising him. If he performs badly, in my opinion, I will basically criticize him. But for me, the backlash, obviously, I was one of them who said no, which was very in shock that we got Madueke on social media as well. I said, why we are signing Madueke, but we cannot sign Eze and stuff like that because 52 million would have been much better used on Eze, right? That's a completely different story. Let's just put it that way. Kivior backup Skelly. Kivior is not a left back. Kivior is not a left back. Big up Hendon. Big up Hendon. Hope you're doing well today. Kala was dubious purchase. Yeah, Calafiori as well was an iffy one. I'm not gonna lie. Kivior is very good at passing. Kivior is very good at first-time crosses. He already and through balls. We saw that also last season when he takes a touch and then passes, or he instantly passes with the first touch. He's actually very decent with that. I'm not gonna lie. We have seen it over multiple occasions. There are some question marks still about him, but overall, he also today was very solid. And plus, he set up the pass for the goal, so cannot knock him for that. Need to be an Odegaard. He was just awful again. He does not look well. He doesn't. That is a big thing. Odegaard needs to get binned. Sign as they play him as a 10, let Dowman and Nwaneri then ballot out for the backup spot. Odegaard, yeah, it was not. The squad was smaller last season because some players outright couldn't be trusted. Yeah, but that's the thing. We didn't trust them. But let's be real. If you look right now, all of those players are still here. You know? Plus, we have Lokonga, Fabio Vieira, Karl Hein, and all these guys are still here. Let's be real. So if you want to tell that there are players who could not be trusted, they are still here. 2 have left, but also 3 have come back. Let's be real. And also Nelson, what's going to happen with him? There are talks about loans and everything. We obviously don't know how the squad is going to look at the end of the window. But if we talk about the outright players who could not be trusted, some of them are gone, but some of them have come back. That is the biggest issue. Squad won't be as small this season with just Tomiyasu being replaced. If Jesus could get replaced too, that would be heaven. Well, Jesus and Havertz should be replaced somehow. I'm very encouraging this play. Only one team looked sharp and destined to win the game. Arsenal, yeah. And to be honest, mostly as well, that was pretty much because of Nwaneri and Dowman and players like that. It was mostly because of our youth, if you ask me. Our young players stole the show, in my opinion. And Kepa with 3 penalty saves. I'm not going to lie. But overall, in the first half, Nwaneri was phenomenal. If he had scored that shot where he head faked the defender, then took a left foot touch, flicked the ball up in the air and then instantly volleyed it to the far corner. If he scored that, man, just wow. And everything. Same goes for Max Dowman. Those 2 stole the show today, in my opinion. Plus, Saka looked very good as well. Norgard was very decent as well. And Ben White looked very sharp after the injury and surgery. 26 players now in the team. Like, let's be real. Odegaard is a thief only. The only excuse I can make for Odegaard is that he had an ankle injury, so maybe it's messed up and he shoot really bad. But that injury literally was 10 months ago. That is the biggest issue. That ankle injury was 10 months ago. He came back 8 months ago. If his injury is still bothering him, obviously that foot is effed up to the maximum extent. Either you have a surgery then and you get better after 3 months, or you basically drag this out and you are still screwed right now. And if you have surgery right now and it's even more messed up potentially, you will be out for an even more extended period of time. Like if that ankle is still bothering him and it's really bad, that is just inexcusable. I heard that Gyokeres will do his medicals in Singapore. I read that as well. Will it happen or not? Who knows? Because apparently we are still waiting. Gyokeres is still waiting. The fact that he gets allowed to do medicals by Lisbon or whoever, who knows? Because if you are not allowed to do medicals, let's be real, the deal is not done yet. The papers have not been signed, because if you sign the papers, he's our player, he can do the medicals. But if he doesn't, so it's still up in the air. Big up TK, hope you're doing well today, my guy. How Galatasaray game? Wait, they played Cagliari today in the friendly, I think. Let me know how that went. Trossard was okay and better than yeah, that's the biggest thing. Trossard was better than Martinelli, yet Reece Nelson was better than both of them. A guy who was injured, hasn't played for like 3-4 months, came back from surgery, was better than Trossard and Martinelli. Make it make sense. Would you play Zubimendi in the 8 and Rice in the 6? Depends on the opponent, but I would definitely look at that because that could also actually work quite in a very similar way, like Partey and Jorginho, for example. Although that sounds weird, but you get what I mean. I can see Zubimendi being an 8, and I can see also Declan Rice. Obviously, he has been a 6, so that wouldn't be also a surprise. Trossard had some moments, man, at Everton and plays game. Yeah, he had some moments during season, 100%. And Spurs game when he said Pedro, yeah, bro, did the splits and everything. I think Merino played striker and did. Merino at striker was better than midfield. That's the nuts part. Big up, Rich. Hope you're doing well. Big up, people. Big up, Rich. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Nice stream today as well. And you had 2 streams today before I went live. One during my work hours and one afterwards. Around what? I think an hour ago, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So big up to you. I see you on the grind with PC and everything, so that's going well with laptop. Go subscribe to Rich 99 people, and while you're at it, smash the likes for this stream as well, and subscribe if you're new. Odegaard isn't good enough. Yep. That is a never-ending saga. Okay, all good. Havertz was anonymous. Yeah, arms didn't even look that big. Yeah, he tripped over a standstill ball, pretty much. He was tripped over a dead ball. Like, that says a lot about Havertz, doesn't it? Odegaard is the most... he's not lazy, but definitely something is left to be... quite a bit is left to be desired. There's no other reason I could fathom for him being made captain. Like, I don't know. He maybe has some nudes he blackmails Arteta with. Who knows? Imagine this at Old Trafford. Big up Eros, Mikel music in the building. Big up BBK as well. Big up BBK. Hope you're doing well. Hope recovery is going well. Big up to everyone. I think I have good. Thank you for dropping by. Have a nice evening. Big up every time. Big up everyone. You people keep me sane on a daily basis. Well, at least glad we can help you somehow. Let's be real. Glad we can help you somehow. Because I'm not gonna lie, and I'm at work and I'm waiting for Shane's stream at 10:30. I'm waiting for Tops's stream at 9 a.m. At 8 a.m. there is CERN Top Gunner who works for football.london, right? And when I sit on that stream, oh my god, I'm losing my mind when I listen to that crap. I'm not gonna lie. Gyokeres on the line yet? He is over the line somewhere. He has stepped the line into the living room of his house, probably. Or stepped over the double line on the road when he was crossing the boardwalk. If Nwaneri scored that volley, the internet was going to go mad. Oh, 100%. That was a fantastic, phenomenal touch and score. Nwaneri dribbling is so beautiful and graceful. And Nwaneri's dribbling on the sideline as well when he did on that defender was fantastic. Odegaard's weakest card in football, or worst player last season. Yeah, definitely would put... Well, Sterling was the worst, then it is Odegaard. Let's just put it that way. Odegaard injured longer than women are pregnant. Like, maybe he's having another baby. Gyokeres is coming to do his medicals, apparently, but when that's the biggest thing, what more do you have to say about Odegaard? The less said than better at this stage, to be honest. I think that ankle injury to Odegaard is more psychological. Looks like he's lost the ball. It could be the case. It could be the case because many times with players who have maybe a bit weaker mentality, whether they realize it or not, whether other people around them realize it or not, they can have the simplest of injuries, but mentally they struggle, and they can have the hardest of injuries and they struggle. Because you can have your ACL injury, you can have maybe, I don't know, you need an ankle surgery and stuff like that. But mentally, you're still worried. One step wrong, 1 millimeter wrong, and you are done. You have that block in you, which you cannot surpass. Obviously, teams have psychologists and everything that help players with that. But obviously, unless player himself is willing to take that one step past the barrier or through the barrier, it's never ever gonna happen. And it could be more psychological than physical with Odegaard as well. Wouldn't be surprised. We need Eze and the left wing. We can't miss any options this window. It has to be fully completed. Facts. For me, we need Eze, we need left wing, and we need a left back. Because Skelly at left back is still weak. We need someone else there. Even as a backup. We need a left back. Salute Iran. It's bigger. I wanted Odegaard to be good, but I'm just not seeing it anymore. Yeah, that one season we got sold the dream by Martinelli, by Odegaard, and all these men. And after that, it has been genuinely hell on earth. It's enough just to say he would be different without the armband. The teenagers are shading him. Maybe that armband as well is making him unserious to some extent. Maybe it is ruining him mentally as well. There is a possibility to that. Nwaneri is better than Odegaard, and Nwaneri causes problems every time he runs with the ball. True. Probably that is the reason why he doesn't play too much, because Mikel Arteta doesn't like that. Mikel Arteta is more about control, possession, passive play. Nwaneri is all about action, risks, directness, and everything. Maybe that's why he doesn't play as much. Odegaard could be the case. It's all lovely, 18 degrees. Would be nice if I had that here. Havertz got buffed and people thought he'd magically become a good player. Exactly. Genuinely, they thought that a stick man is gonna become Popeye when he eats spinach and he is gonna have a better touch all of a sudden. We can't just swap Eze from all the Crystal Palace are too smart. They don't want that player probably. Yeah, why are you laughing at me? What did I do? Yes, all the Arteta obsessed fans. And anyway, why don't anything about the club well getting all giddy about Havertz? Yeah, that's all over the place. It's all over the place. I think Havertz is still injured. Or if that is the case and he plays... Havertz played the most amount of minutes today, if I'm not mistaken. Seriously, Havertz played the most amount of minutes today. And if he's injured and he plays most amount of minutes, that should tell you everything you need to know, shouldn't it? Like, serious talk. That should tell you everything you need to know, shouldn't it? In those terms. Let's just put it that way. Let me check quickly. Where is Havertz? Yeah, Havertz played 79 minutes. He was the last sub. He came off and Reece Nelson came on. And Reece Nelson in 11 minutes did more than Havertz, Martinelli, and Trossard. But yeah, if you play 79 minutes and you're still injured, that is on Arteta. It's just like Rice playing with broken toe against Chelsea. Odegaard, who can barely walk on one leg, was playing injured against Chelsea and all this stuff. Havertz was crap. Yeah, nothing has changed. Havertz more crap than usual. No way, he's heavy too. Like, that's actually nuts. I think California should be played center back. 100%. California at center back is much better. Why are you mentioning ACLs, bro? Because whenever someone mentions this psychological aspect, right, of the recovering from injuries, serious injuries, a few years ago, I was listening to a podcast where Seth Rollins, if you watch WWE, you know who Seth Rollins is. He was talking about coming back from his ACL, and he was talking about is that it's not as much about sometimes if you physically recover, how good you physically recover, as much as mentally, if you can push yourself past that ceiling or through that glass ceiling, you have set yourself that you are not afraid anymore to take that jump, take that leap, do that stomp, do that body slam and all this stuff, basically. That's why I always mention ACLs mostly, because Seth Rollins was talking about it. It always comes to my mind when they mention psychological effect of recovering from injuries. I think, again, why are we crossing the ball when Havertz can win a damn? It comes from Wenger days, remember? When we had Giroud up top, we played through balls and thought he would chase the ball. Then we take off Giroud and sub on Theo Walcott, and we start crossing the ball as if Theo Walcott is like 6'9". Calafiori is a center back. He must be a center back. Anyway, he should play there, but the only way he can play it if he go 3 or 5. Exactly. If we play three at the back, Calafiori goes left center back. If we play 5 at the back, he can go left wing back. Push comes to shove, right? Calafiori is a center back. He's not an out-and-out left back. And people don't understand maybe sometimes that what I try to say, but playing center back and playing left back are 2 different positions for me personally. And that is the reason why Calafiori is not a good left back. Norgard must just clear Odegaard in training if the ankle don't evidence he needs. That's evil. Arteta 10 Calafiori into inverted striker center back like that is actually nuts. Nwaneri is simply too ambitious in possession just to have with Arteta ball. Exactly. Arteta won't be brave enough to play him in those close matches. And Arteta will be brave enough to bench him for doing that. Let that sink in. I missed the heat. Oh, bloody hell. And we're the Gyokeres song. Oh, bloody hell. We don't need that. Havertz used to be good at heading, but now... Like, that is such a stupid narrative people are trying to push out. Oh, but he doesn't score headed goals. Like, what the hell are you on about? I didn't like... If we talk about this like that, it's same goes for Havertz and Gyokeres. They push the narrative for the same. It's actually stupid. I didn't even know Havertz was on the pitch till he got subbed. Yeah, like, it's serious. It was like that. Odegaard is not injured and Havertz is not injured. Stop excusing. Exactly. Facts. Stop accusing the shit performances. Like, he has been bad. California knows how about party in the city of LA. I think we should not risk Timba or Big Gabriel if they are still injured. Like, obviously, something is there. They're still recovering. Gabriel apparently is getting closer to the recovery, but after that, not sure about Timba. If you already saw this, my bad, but 3 at the back would be the best right now. 100%. I've been saying this for about 3 years. I've been on this platform for over a year now, and I've been saying it I said it in the first stream I did, and the first video I did, and I said it even before in group chats and when I talk to friends. Arsenal should be playing 3 at the back. We have all the necessary tools to play 3 at the back, maybe one player short. Besides that, there is no excuses. And 3 at the back was the last, and we played 3 at the back / 5 at the back was the last time we won something, the FA Cup. So why not go back to it if it has already provided us with success? Why not make it? Mikel Arteta should teach materials to improve his game. I think Mikel Arteta does not want to teach Martinelli to keep his head up. Maybe it's too late. Who knows? Because at the moment, it's not looking too good, is it? Like, seriously, it's not looking too good, is it? Overall, if you think about it. But yeah, if we look at the things overall, it is what it is. Like Arsenal, Gyokeres, we are still waiting on that. We are waiting on the full announcement, full signings and everything. So we'll see how that goes, how that develops. The issue for me, to be honest, is... what Zubimendi has said in an interview. And this will be quite annoying to read, but bear with me here. This is what Martin Zubimendi said in an interview, because this really caught my eye today. This is what Zubimendi said in an interview. Football comes down to details, especially in the Champions League. Arsenal were the only team who truly stood up to Paris Saint-Germain, PSG, and they let it slip because of minor details. I'm not a stickler, but this sounds hella like Mikel Arteta copy-paste ChatGPT changed answer what he said before in the interviews. Because we were not the team that stood up to PSG. Let's be real. Teams that stood up to PSG were Liverpool and were, Aston Villa. We just took it. There were no minor details. We got outdone overall. Seriously. This answer literally sounds like as it was written by Mikel Arteta, which is really annoying, I'm not gonna lie. It's really annoying because now Zubimendi sounds like Mikel Arteta and it's pissing me off. Serious talk, point per point, what Mikel Arteta tends to say. If we had 3 at the back, we could have a cam for the youth and one for the bottom. Yeah, exactly. Or play double pivot 4-2-3-1, and then you have 3 cams technically. Norgard's passing was decent. Yes, he misplaced a few passes, but overall it was very, very decent. 3-5-2, yeah, or 3-4-1-2, something like that. Big up Ogondo. Odegaard is the biggest problem we have right now. Does Arteta got balls to bench him though? Nope, he doesn't. He's the captain. He cannot bench the captain. And let's be real, he's not going to strip him from captaincy as well. Even though, let's be real, I would say about 90% of the fan base would want that to happen. Kai Havertz needs to go back to Kai Havertz 2 seasons before. Kovoma, Felipe. Cal Gabriel, DM, Odegaard's Mendy. Could work. could work. Odegaard is the biggest problem at the moment. It's Odegaard, it's Havertz as well, because the issue is he will try to. I hope like the biggest problem is that Odegaard, Havertz also is gonna get shoehorned into the team. That for me is the other problem here. Because if the reports that started in the beginning of the window said that Havertz is starting a few games at the beginning of the season, no matter if we sign a number 9 or not, it is a big worry because we could see Havertz on the left wing. We could see Havertz in the 8. We could see Havertz in the 10 or somewhere like that. That for me is the biggest issue. Yeah, people, smash the like button. Smash the like buttons if you haven't already. Smash it and subscribe and all this good stuff. Feeling we will go to 4-4-2. If we play 4-4-2, where does Odegaard play? The bench? Because otherwise, I don't see he's not dropping Odegaard or Havertz left wing like the Mikel Arteta says that Martinelli needs to improve his game. That's why he's Mikel Arteta on help. Exactly, he needs to improve his game. Go and help him then. You are the winger whisperer, as you got sold to us by Top Gunners when you just signed. Oh, look what he did with Sterling. Took under his arm, cuddled, made him what he was at Man City, won insane amount of trophies. Where has he done that with Martinelli, Trossard, Nelson, Fabio Vieira, Marquinhos, even Saka to some extent? Where has he done that with them? Like, serious talk. Come on, man. Havertz on the left wing, I would cry. They're not far off that, let's be real. Don't care. Arteta is like the person you do a school work project and says everything you do is wrong and everything he does is right, but everything he says would get him fired or F. Yeah, exactly. I think the defensive coach made our defense better. Well, we'll see about that, though. Like, we're going to see about that over time, how that is going to go, because Heinz being a drill sergeant is something obviously we need, but whether that's going to happen or not, that's a completely different story. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to lie. Genuinely, we'll have to wait and see. Otherwise, it's a bit different story. But hey, at least Arsenal won some sort of a Singapore trophy, right? Hey, champions of Dubai, champions of Singapore, you'll never sing that and all this stuff. Martinelli, the second problem we have, we can't start the season with him and Trossard as our left-wing options. That's why we have Noni Madueke. Noni, are you okay? Are you okay, Noni? Noni Madueke is a left-winger. That's why we have him there. Trossard looks like he's getting sold to Bayern or Gala. Like, the thing is, Trossard, if Bayern sign Luis Diaz, he's not getting sold to what's its face, to Bayern Munich, right? Galatasaray, you have to ask that to TK. Nelly probably will be back for Madueke, most likely. There was an article that said that players need to improve themselves instead of him coaching them. Like, go and coach 15 million a year for what? Maybe Bayern one bump would be nice. Replace Musiala with Odegaard would be nice. Screw that song. Well, I get it. I absolutely get it. I'm fine. A goal. I will if I heard that song. I would rather have Trossard or Nelson play next game. To be honest, Nelson looked better than both of them. So there is an argument for that. 100%. Without shadow of a doubt. Madueke at left wing I will not be there, but you will have to be there, won't you? Because, again, that is for me the biggest thing. I haven't seen Arsenal to sign a 45+ million worth player and not be a starter. There hasn't been one, pretty much. Arsenal don't operate like that. Every single big signing we have signed is a starter for Arsenal. And unfortunately, Madueke falls in that category right now. That, for me, is the biggest issue here. Did Sambi play better? He even played? Did Sambi Lokonga even play? Seriously, didn't notice if he played. Didn't notice if Sambi Lokonga even played. Kepa, Odegaard, Lasage, Kivior, Sambi Lokonga didn't even play. That's why I was asking. Sambi Lokonga didn't even play. Personally, would play Skelly there at this point. Well, Hato joining Chelsea is low-key. It's a massive problem. Because for me personally, Chelsea need just a goalkeeper and a proper center back and a proper goalkeeper. And they will be a massive problem. And if they sign Maignan, if AC Milan cannot come to terms with Maignan over a new deal till the end of the window with 1 year left on his deal, it will be Chelsea back in for him. And if they sign Hato, who can play left center back, who is very good at 3 at the back, left center back, and the left back to replace Cucurella, if push comes to shove, right? Because they don't trust Ben Chilwell, from what I can see. Chelsea will be a big problem. Gyokeres looking like he will play left wing, dude. He's going to be a number 6. He's a top talent. Been watching him for years now. Yeah. Yo, TK, Galatasaray is signing Trossard or not? Hijack Hato, like Arsenal don't hijack nothing except pickpocket their own players' pockets. Chelsea getting Hato will like it's not sorry. I thought no, Sambi Lokonga didn't play. No worries. Hato, look, Menezes done. Come on, Arsenal. Like, yeah, get a move on, basically. No, Galar not linked with him. Oh, that's nice. Big up, Darren. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. Yeah, but yeah. I heard that Noni Madueke might. Yeah, he might. There, no, but he won't. I think he's gonna stay in England until we come back to preseason. From preseason, he's gonna play an Emirates Cup against Bilbao and Villarreal. However, Mosquera has flown to Singapore. There are rumors that Gyokeres will do medicals in Singapore, so against Spurs we might see him. Yeah, Madueke is on vacation. Why did Harryman Anush play today? He should have come on for him. Like Havertz played 79 minutes. He played the most amount of minutes by a mile compared to others. Imagine Trossard leaves and scored. I wouldn't be surprised. We should have just waited to Chelsea drop his price, how like they did in Kunku. TK, we might still sign Kunku. Don't give them ideas. But yeah, anyways, guys, I think on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. I'm hella tired after today. I didn't sleep well. Like, it was actually kind of insane. I'm gonna have a better stream tomorrow, hopefully. Well, longer a bit, for about 10 minutes. But for today, I think I'm gonna sign off. So if you haven't already, please do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new. See you all tomorrow. Go check out my YouTube short and TikTok if you haven't already. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day tomorrow. Hopefully Thursday treats you very, very, very well. And hopefully tomorrow we can get some more positive news regarding Arsenal, because would love to see Gyokeres doing medicals or Arsenal putting bid in for Eze or something like that. That would be definitely something we would welcome here. So for today, I am out and see you guys tomorrow. Peace.